Your network is your net worth. Welcome to Mindset and Marketplace, where we dive deeper to discover the secrets of building strategic relationships. Today I'm excited to have Romana Prochaskova. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for the invitation.
Romana, for those who may not know you yet, could you please share a bit about your background and what you do?
There is a fabulous question. Who are you? Because usually we introduce ourselves by what we do, but I rather describe myself by who I am, because there are many roles I juggle every day. So most of the times I'm a mom of 2 kids. I'm a wife of a busy husband. I'm a passionate car singer. I sing in a car only when there is no audience. And of course, I'm an entrepreneur. And I'm using different tools. My main tool is coaching. So I work as a executive coach for senior leaders. But I also work as a trainer, leadership consultant, or I speak at the events. So this is who I am and what I do. And then it depends on the day which role takes over.
Wow, wow, really. I liked how you introduced yourself.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's thought provoking. It makes you ponder on who you really are. Like, why are you here in life? Yeah, so,
We usually tend to attach our identities to what we do as a work.
mm-hmm.
That's not all. That's just what I do for a living. That's what I do because I enjoy doing it. But that's not who I am. So there is always more depth into the question. And that's actually what I do during my coaching sessions, work into the depth with my clients.
Awesome. How can we work into the depth and explore how networking can help women leaders, specific, um, form partnerships or collaborations or connect with people who not only help her grow her business but also align with her personal values and goals.
It's a good point. I know we've been chatting about the difference between transactional relationships or transactional networking
Yeah,
and something deeper.
exactly.
And I think that the way forward is actually combining both, because there is always some kind of an exchange in any relationship.
Mm-hmm. True.
Relationships are in its very core quite selfish, because we do it for our own reasons and the other person on the other side as well. If you have a close friend and she would be only talking about herself all the time, you wouldn't want to be in relationship with her,
Very true.
even though it's a close and deep relationship. There shouldn't be no transaction, right? But that's not true. There is always some kind of exchange. So even during networking, we can combine both. And usually with transactions, we start, what's your name? How are you doing? That's a
Mm-hmm.
transaction. We are
True.
exchanging information, right?
Exactly. Exactly. And how do you advise women leaders to approach this? Like, do you have a strategy for that? Do you have a formula for that? A framework, I mean.
I was just recently listening to a very interesting podcast about networking and a small talk. And most people, even extroverts, and I also consider myself being extroverted, most people, me included, dread networking and small talk,
Oh,
because there is always this sense of, oh, what if it doesn't work out? What if it turns into something awkward,
true.
right?
Right.
Oh, the trick is not to stay in the small talk for too long. It's
Okay.
just the very first exchange. And those first exchanges you can actually get prepared for. Meaning, if you are going for an event, things I do, I think about what I'm gonna wear. I mean, that's female thing. I think really what I'm gonna wear if I,
Yeah.
yes, if I feel comfortable in the clothing. I also choose something that's gonna stand out. So it's also a hook for a person to approach me to say, oh yes, I love your bright colors, or I love your, I don't know, skirt. It's actually great opener. And then I think about few opening questions that I might ask. For instance, going for a meeting or networking event when I know that I won't know anyone, I may break the awkwardness by a question or sharing actually my feelings, saying, okay, this feels awkward, like a first date. I don't know anyone.
Nice.
You help me.
That's very
And
cool.
most of the times, people are willing to help.
Exactly.
But this is a transaction. I'm asking for help. Someone I don't know. I'm not having a deep relationship with the person yet.
But like you broke the ice, you made the first step.
Yeah.
And most of the times people feel the same, but they don't talk about it. So once you approach them this way, they will be like, oh, I feel so too. Very amazing point here. And women at the top, you just said that you coach women, executive women, I mean. So women at the top, especially executive leaders, feel lonely, right? How can they build a community or a group that is supportive, that is giving, and that is loyal to them?
The loneliness usually comes from the feeling that I don't have a peer group that shares the struggles I have. So of
Okay.
course, one of the strategies is you don't have to always build it yourself. You can join the group. And I know that at least here in Czech Republic, the mentoring or mentoring groups or masterminds are getting high popularity.
Exactly.
So women leaders can easily join the group of, mostly like when we are talking about women mentoring, the women groups, who are also usually supported by men, but they are usually women mentoring groups, where the women share common struggles, topics, leadership issues, personal issues. So joining such a group is giving you the community that most women leaders are actually looking for.
And do you know any groups that women can join today?
I know many in Czech Republic. I know there are few, I mean, I know of few worldwide, but of course, I believe that there are, that the need is growing. That's why I think the groups or mentoring groups are going to grow as well, no matter the location.
Okay, so we're saying groups, they can be online, they can be offline, right?
Yes, I am myself part of one remote first women circle group. I'm also part of a mentoring initiative. I'm a mentor to a woman leader myself. So even myself, I'm part of two already, and there are many more. Some of them are focused more on leaders, some of them are focused more on specific niche or profession, but they are definitely growing. It just needs to look around.
Amazing. Talking about the groups and talking about finding support to make the impact. that we want to make or leaders want to make, how can we identify these right strategic relationships or partnerships or collaborations that we can do, right, to make this impact we want to make as women leaders?
It like everything starts with the question, what do I want?
Mm-hmm.
So knowing the answer is gonna show us the way. So what do I want? Do I want a sponsor who's gonna support me in looking for a higher position? Do I need a mentor who has already walked the path and is going to show me the way? Do I need a challenger or a coach who's going to challenge my thinking and actually draw the best out of me? Do I just need a cheerleader who's going to just trust and believe in me in the moments when I don't? Or do I need someone else? So the question always starts, what do I want? And where do I want to go?
You're right, but many leaders get caught in their day-to-day operations and work, and they forget who they are in the first place and what they want and where do they want to go. So, is there any strategy or way they can tap into this inner world and realize what they really want?
I think the more often you ask the question, then it becomes automatic. So you actually ask it in every single moment you make the decision. So you start early in the morning. What do I want? What's the most important thing for me today?
Mm-hmm.
It's one task that I'm committing myself to do. What do I really want? Facing a difficult conversation or having a difficult conversation, giving a feedback or whatsoever. What do I want from the conversation, me as a leader?
Okay.
So this is how you actually get into being very clear. And then it's only about defining only. Yes, it sounds simple. It's not easy, but then if I know what I want, then we can talk about how do I prioritize, how do I set boundaries, how do I communicate, what's the right form for me to communicate what I want, and who are the people who can help me.
Definitely. Definitely. So knowing yourself um, creates the path or leads the way to where you want to get, right?
Yeah, and also when we started about the networking, it's also true for the networking.
Mm-hmm.
When I was coming from a maternity leave or parental leave, and my first networking event I was really nervous. I felt
Oh,
awkward. I didn't know if I'm gonna fit in. I didn't know what to talk about. I didn't have the content.
mm-hmm.
So what I wanted is just to be in the environment, to make familiar with the group. So that was my goal. That's what I wanted. And then how to get there was, show up, of course. Then listen, ask question. I didn't have to say much unless people asked. So it always starts with what do I want? What's the intention behind my behavior? What do I want from the networking event? Do I want to get a feedback for a proposal that I'm making?
Mm-hmm.
Then ask.
Right,
Do
right.
I want to get a partnership? Talk about it with
Exactly.
people.
You're right. And this helps you know or realize if you want this thing because you want it or because people are doing it, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. 100%. Romana, we've reached the end of our episode, and I was very happy, and it was very helpful what you shared. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome. And again, thank you for the invitation. It was my pleasure.
The pleasure is mine, always. Thank you for tuning into Mindset and Marketplace. Your feedback helps us grow. Please leave a comment and share your thoughts. Remember, sharing this episode with others who may benefit from our guest insights helps us spread the knowledge and grow the community of business leaders. Stay connected.